Hello everybody, this is Gareth Coon Speaks back here with another video. I'd like you to hit the subscribe bar, give me a thumbs up if you like the video, or hit the notification bell to be notified when I post my next post. Or else you can look me up on my website, which is www.garethcoon.co.uk. Or if you like the ministry and would like to support it, you can do so through PayPal, garethcahoon3@gmail.com. 100-year civilization jihad plan. Trump administration labels three Muslim Brotherhood groups as terrorists. Jerusalem. The Muslim Brotherhood is an Islamic terror group so dangerous that it's banned in Saudi Arabia, Syria, and Egypt. Last year, the United States, Texas, and Florida designated the group as a foreign terrorist organization. Now the Trump administration has done the same. On Tuesday, the State and Treasury Departments took action to label three Middle Eastern branches of the Muslim Brotherhood as terrorists. The State Department designated the Lebanese branch a foreign terrorist organization, the most severe of the labels. This makes it a criminal offence to provide material support to the group. The Jordanian and Egyptian branches are now listed by Treasury as specially designated global terrorists for providing support to Hamas. These designations reflect the opening actions of an ongoing sustained effort to thwart Muslim Brotherhood chapters' violence and destabilization wherever it occurs. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said in a statement the United States will use all available tools to deprive these Muslim Brotherhood chapters of the resources to engage in or support terrorism. President Donald J. Trump started the process last year by signing an executive order designating the Muslim Brotherhood as a terrorist organization, following a lengthy report by the Institute for the Study of Global Anti-Semitism and Policy, known as the ISGAP. The report, nearly 2,000 pages long, argues that the Muslim Brotherhood has spent decades advancing what it calls a civilizational jihad aimed at undermining democratic institutions in the United States and the West. This is an organization that believes in murdering Jews, destroying Israel, and destroying the United States of America, said Dr. Charles Asher Small, the founder and director of ISGAP. This is their objective. Founded nearly a century ago in Egypt, the Muslim Brotherhood now operates across the Middle East. Hamas originated as the group's Palestinian branch, according to the report. In November, Small appeared alongside lawmakers and scholars to warn that the Brotherhood is more than halfway through what ISGAP describes as a 100-year plan to erode democratic societies from within. They sponsor terrorism, murder, and mayhem across the planet, said US Ambassador to Israel Mike Huckabee. At a recent Knesset prayer event, they are a very negative and destructive force, and it's very important to the United States to use its power and influence to call them out for what they are. The ISGAP report focused heavily on what it describes as the Brotherhood's influence operations in the West, particularly in academia. It alleges that groups such as the Brotherhood, Muslim Brotherhood Students Association, and Students for Justice in Palestine serve as vehicles for spreading the organization's ideology. The report cited Students for the Justice in Palestine as a major force behind violent anti-Israel protests at Columbia University. Small pointed to the election of Zoran Mandani as the new mayor of New York City as evidence of what he describes as long-term political preparation. He came out of SJP. Small said he was a student activist for Students for Justice in Palestine at Bowdoin College. It's important to your listeners to understand that SJP comes out of American Muslims for Palestine, which is a Muslim Brotherhood backed organization. Trump's executive order states that the Muslim Brotherhood chapters in Lebanon, Jordan, and Egypt pose a threat to the US national security interests. Middle East an analyst Dr. Mike Evans said he urged the administration to expand the scope of the order to include Brotherhood linked activity in Syria, Turkey, and Qatar. The Muslim Brotherhood and Qatar funded and fueled terror, Al Qaeda and the Taliban, Iran and Hamas. Evans said these people hate us. At state level, decisions by Texas and Florida governors to label both the Muslim Brotherhood and the Council on American Islamic Relations as terrorist organizations are currently being challenged in court. Texas Governor Greg Abbott cited past convictions tied to care affiliates in defending the designation. One of the founders of the Texas branch of CARE was sent to prison for 65 years for financing terrorism, Abbott said. The fact of the matter is there are people associated with CARE who pose a serious danger. Trump has ordered Secretary of State Marco Rubio and the Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent to submit a joint report by the end of 2025 outlining next steps towards a formal designation. The Muslim Brotherhood is already banned as a terrorist organization in Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Russia, Syria, and the Jordan. However, ISCAP report says Brotherhood-linked organizations continue to operate freely in Turkey and Qatar, funding media outlets and political influence campaigns worldwide. Qatar is buying favour with the BBC, CNN, and other media outlets, including Al Jazeera, and it's now into our political system, Small said. Evans said a formal US designation would dramatically limit the group's global reach. It's a game changer, Evans said. When you designate a terrorist organisation, they can't move anymore. They have no room to operate. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has praised Trump's initiative and indicated Israel may follow with its own designation. Israel Deputy Foreign Minister Sharon Haskell warned that radical Islamist groups have been clear about their long-term goals. We've seen the movements of radical jihadist groups who say very clearly that what they seek is the destruction of Western civilization as we know it today, Haskell said. So this is a good step forward because these organisations should never have been allowed to start in our nations, never mind try and plan 100-year jihad, which, as we all know what jihad is, it's the murder of Christians, Jews, and anyone who doesn't bow the knee to Islam. And I won't be one who bows the knee. I will stand up for the Christian faith because it is the only good and proper thing to do in these days that we're living in. Because whether you like it or not, Yeshua, Jesus, is coming back soon, and we need to be ready. Shalom, Maranatha, and Hallelujah.